Coach, based on what you touched on this a little bit after the game against Ohio, but now that you're back, through your experiences as coaching, what's the biggest, not challenge, but just focus that you have with your team in that preparation time before your first game after the holiday?
Well, normally I've always had more practice time than the 28th, and consistently have come back to 26th. Get them off for Christmas, come back 26th. Normally, don't like to play that game until about the 29th, so you get, 2 really good practices under your belt before you play the game. The practice always on the 26th when you get back. Getting them back is the big hurdle. And we all got back, and, it's more of a, getting them done that floor, getting some air in our lungs, getting a little bit of conditioning back. If those guys have traveled on that 26 all day long. So you don't get a lot of preparation that day, and a lot of you get more of, conditioning. Today will kind of be our first real practice, and in that practice you got also, you get Austin Peay put in there because it's just basically a one-day prep for it. So it's what it is. Looking at all this, I think the biggest thing I see challenges are we lose a day of travel a lot flying commercial. I see that. Like when we turn and go to Florida next week, basically Thursday is a travel day, and that's probably a little bit of an adjustment. So that's what it is, and so you got to come out here, and after the holidays, it's always a different challenge. Those guys being off for 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 4 full days, and he came back on the 26th night.
You mentioned Austin Peay. What have you seen out of them?
Well, they've got a really good point guard, averaging about 20 points a game. Scores a lot of different ways, and I know they're probably making some adjustments from last year's team where they were really good, won the OVC championship, I guess, in the tournament, and I know they lost their big guy, but they'll be well coached. Coach Luce does a great job with them, and they got a guy on the inside can score too, and 42 can score at basketball. So, but I know they're trying to find themselves a little bit too because they're adjusting and changing the way they play.
What do you think about most? Do you think about your time as an assistant back there?
Back when?
Back when you were at
It's been a long time. I can't, whatever it's been, that's 28 years ago. I remember Clarksville was a nice little town. It was kind of just growing. And we had a nice facility. And, the things that stand out is that 87 or 88 team, and we went to the beat Illinois first round of the NCAA tournament and had Providence beat with Rick Pitino and Billy Donovan. All we had to do is make a free throw with no time on the clock. I mean, literally, didn't even line up around the free throw line, if I remember correctly. That I remember. To put it in, we missed a free throw, game went in overtime, and kind of the rest is history. I know Billy hit a three-pointer at the end of that overtime. We were up, pushed off, offensive foul. It wasn't called. Made the shot, and rest is history. They go blow out, I think, Georgetown by 37 or 39, and Alabama by 37 or 35 to go to the Final Four, and Pitino then takes the next job from that run. So that's what stands out about.
I think your point guard played to be better.
Well, Damari gave us some really good minutes that night. I'd like to be able to get that kind of play from him every night. Hopefully he can. He's sat over there for a long time, and he's watched a bunch, and again, just thought he was under control, didn't try to do too much, and made some plays. Thought he played relaxed for the first time in a while. Sometimes sitting over there, I'll let you play relaxed. So if we can get that kind of point play from him, that helps our team for sure. I mean, we need every point guard we got to be able to give us something.
I know you wanted Junior to transition to that point. Could it be a scenario where Damari starts getting maybe more minutes at point guard?
Junior's going to be our point guard. You're saying if If Junior's not playing as well, could Damari play more minutes? Long as Damari plays as well as he played, it's easier to play some more minutes. But we're not playing very well. It's the easiest decision to make again. So I haven't had that opportunity to make that decision very much this season. Last game was probably the first time that I felt very comfortable leaving him in. I think Damari played, 27, 28 minutes. Junior had 13, I think. He picked up those 2 fouls early in the game. But for the most part, most of the season, we haven't had the luxury of doing that at all. Just allowing another guy to play and not have to play Junior. But you guys, y'all know this. We need them all. We need whatever Junior can give us, and I still think he'll get better. And we need those. We need Damari and TJ to keep finding ways to help us.
Been able to keep an eye on Conference USA at all?
I really haven't, to be honest. Honestly, really kind of the first time, I think, was probably coming back from Detroit. We had some airport time where I had a chance with Talvis and Zach update me where's the league at. I know that Middle's a team that separated himself in this league, being the best team in the league, and I know UAB's really talented. Those two teams, I guess, have stood out. Middle's had some big wins, but the rest of the league I really hadn't followed a whole lot. I know those two teams, and particularly Middle, having big wins against Ole Miss at Ole Miss, beating Vandy. Those are really good wins for them. But now I've had a chance to kind of look at some other people from a standpoint of what the records are. And again, I don't get into a whole lot of the records. You can some. You get into records based on where people played at too, home and away. There's some teams in the league has played more home games than they have away games. There's some teams in the league's been on that road a bunch too. So that win-loss column can't always base that on that.
Think y'all ready for conference play?
Well, let me ask you a question. What's ready mean, and do I have a choice? Answer that one. What is ready? What's that mean? Now, you know the answer to that question. That means ready. It means clicking on all cylinders, everything working great, great point guard plays, shooting the ball well, and defending and all that. If that's what it means, being ready, we're not ready. If you're asking me, have we made some progress? We have made some progress. If we continue to get some more consistent play out some of those guys off the bench, that helps us. And I do think this, just getting some guys back will help us as we settle in with rhythm and chemistry, because that's something we haven't had much of, going back to, whenever. But naturally in the last week, probably since we went to Indiana State, we get Jabari back, Willie becomes back part of the team. So now all of a sudden you're trying to get some rhythm, with the Jabari starting to see some things he could help us with. He played well at Indiana State and, basically, gave us some good minutes at Detroit with no practice time. So the other night against Ohio was very obvious. He helped us with his energy and his toughness. So we got to continue now to practice and get some rhythm and get some chemistry with him helping us out there some. Anton, don't know if we'll have him tomorrow night. He comes back with night before last, spraining his ankle walking into his dorm. Stepped on a sidewalk carrying some stuff and, sprained his ankle. So we need practice time so we can get some of these newer guys who hadn't played a lot worked in with adjusting, sliding back down, getting some minutes at that 5, getting Damari out there and, figuring out does TJ help us at the 1 or 2 now. But I do think we've gotten better, and I think we will continue to get better offensively. I know that as we settle in, like I keep saying, with a little rhythm and a little chemistry.
Rick, you mentioned Willie. I think he played 6 minutes against Ohio, and so that's the only thing I've seen with him in game action. Obviously seen him in practice, but since he's been back, have you liked what you've seen from him, not just practice and so forth, but also body language?
Well, attitude and body language has been great. There really hadn't been a lot of practice time with him. He got back on that bus going to Indiana State, and y'all know what's transpired since then. There was no practice time really on that trip, and then we came back on that Sunday. We had Monday, Tuesday before we played basically Monday before we played Ohio U. So then we're off for this 4 or 5 day span, and with him too, he missed whatever it was. What was it, 6, 7 weeks? You guys know what that date is, exact date. So it'll be a learning curve for him for sure.
Coach, even through 12 games, I can tell, even when there's been the downs and the ups, I can tell you enjoy being around this team, you enjoy coaching this team. Is there one thing that stands out with you that you really enjoy coming to practice and games this week?
Well, I know our team's going to get better. That's going to happen. I've kept things in perspective. Naturally, we haven't won as many games as we like to win, and in those situations. But it's been a little bit of adjustment's not the right word, but doing some things, not having some practice time, traveling. I've never been on the road. You play 8 out of 9 games on the road. I can just tell you that's a adjustment from a standpoint how you use your team and practice your team. And practice time is something that's invaluable at this time of year. And again, even playing at home when you're playing a bunch of games, it's tougher. But when you're traveling, there's just not a lot of practice time. There's not a lot of time to get better in some areas you need to get better at. Then again, getting some pieces back during all that time early, because it's a new team. Jabari's on a gold team in practice. We don't have time to worry about trying to get him ready, or time to watch and see what he can do. We're trying to get those other guys out there, see where they can play at, where they can help us right now. So getting Jabari back, and being able to see him playing games and do some different things, has given us an opportunity to gain some confidence in him. There's no question his team needed some toughness. He's a guy that's brought some toughness to us. And again, toughness is a great ability, and mixing that in, it can be a good ingredient for us.